Hey, welcome you to Cooper's Automotive. We've got a 2013, it's a Toyota Camry. Got the four-cylinder in it here. AC wasn't working, was customer's complaint, and wrecked in the front. This bumper you'll see is pretty damaged. The AC condenser's got a hole in it. So first things, we got to put an AC condenser in it, evacuate it, charge it, and see how the system works after that. So stay tuned. Going to pull this top cover plastic pieces off right here. These little clips are not in the greatest of shape. But what we can't save, we'll replace and get some new ones for it anyway. A little screwdriver for that would be very helpful. Just grab a pick here and get the tabs pulled up here a little bit. From what I understand, the bumper does have to come off, so because of the accident, it's about halfway off already. Push tabs are out. This grill right here's got some push tabs in that. Button tabs, whatever you want to call them. Let's say they're all in rough shape. We always have a bunch of extra ones of these little clips if we lose them, replace them, break them all the time, so it's very common. So let's see how this front grille piece attaches. It's got one more tab down here on the inside. And before I even get anywhere, hardly at all, this bumper's already coming off of here. It's already off on the sides. So we got a little bit to do underneath. We do have to pull this latch assembly right here out of here. Couple 10 mils there. Go ahead and do that now. Whoop. It's bent. Pretty bent there. There's a cross bracket coming in the center support right here. Let's get that out of there. I'm wondering if I do have to even pull this bumper completely back. If I do, it's simple enough. So we'll take this cross support right here out. Little fresh air intake from the air cleaner. We have a couple of horns here attached to this member. So let's see if they'll just simply unplug them. High and a low tone horn. Let's remove that fresh air intake right there. And let's remove that, just setting everything on top of the engine there. The grill piece down in the bottom of this thing is already caved in. So it just came right out with the damage of it. There's 4 bolts, 10 millimeters in the front of the evap right here. And obviously there's probably going to be a couple of lines. There's these, I don't even know what to call them, but they direct the airflow and keep it centered through the condenser on each side. There's actually only one of those. The other one's already missing. This piece, you could say is a 10. You could bend it. It's bent already, but tin down in the bottom takes that off. I'll go ahead and take these tins out of the radiator that are holding the condenser in. Say there's two more of those. And we're going to lift it up a little bit just so I can get to the bottom too. There's the Freon's gone. But what I'm taking off here is the 2 lines. I am going to readjust the camera angle here in just a second. Because I'm going to take this little bracket off of the front here. Just going to lay it over there. All right, let's rechange our camera angle here. See what kind of vision I can get for everybody. That should be a little bit better down inside there. So cross members coming out here, front bumper piece pulled forward. Enough that we can get to everything. We'll just pop it back in there the best we can and probably have to put some baling wire and duct tape on it. In the very bottom of the radiator to the condenser are the 10 millimeter. It's like that. There's one more on the other side that I haven't taken off yet. You will pull your radiator up just a little bit to get to it. So the lines are right here. Can you see any of that? Try one more view here. Ready? I still can't see it because this is in the way, but if I pull this back, where I'm working is right down there, the 2 lines that go to the condenser. Just common sense. But they have to come off. They look like that. Put everything in our little retainer bowls. Wiggle our lines out. Need a little screwdriver. I'm very bad when it comes to screwdrivers. Sets, they tend to disappear all the time. to get it separated a little bit. We'll need new O-rings in it. Try not to bend the lines too much because it'll just make it that much harder to install. Pull straight up out of there. So there it is, yes. Big hole. I had one guy say to me, why don't you heli arc and weld those up? They're too cheap. Why would you want to? Why not just do it right? I'm going to try to give you a part number here because I got the camera at a weird angle. We're going to move things around. Okay, this is the 1-800 radiator, and it's a 300143 RK. Parquet. Just kidding. All right, so let's get this thing open. Make sure it's right. Does look a little bit different. But I do believe it's the same, even though it's a little bit different as far as where it bolts down in the bottom. Let's make sure we're good. These things always come disconfigured and bent, and sometimes you just have to look, and if they're too bent, you call them back and say, send me another one. I'm not using that. All right. So you will have to move it up just a little bit to start your bottom tins that hold your condenser on. Just trying to get a hold of it here. Continue to see what I'm doing. Let's get everything started before you tighten up anything. At least on installing that condenser. I really expected this job to be a whole lot harder than this. Well, we're vacuum packed on our AC condenser, so it held pressure, so you know it's not leaking. All right. It did not come with new O-rings. So I'll just reach down in there and dig those O-rings out. That one right there. All right, I got to walk over to my O-ring assortment and get some new O-rings for it. We buy a ton of O-rings all the time. And just finding the exact match is sometimes on the difficult side. I believe I've got it. We're going to reach down in there and put those O-rings, new ones on. Just some kind of lubricant on your O-rings. I usually use the universal type of quick cool pag oil, but almost got that piece in there. And you want to wiggle your line in there. You don't want to force it. Make sure you don't pinch your O-ring. Not much to this one. Oh. O-ring does all the work. The bolts don't have to be cranked down on. Just snug them in, you're done. Now, radiator's in place. We got this bracket. We'll start our bottom bolt. Reattach our wires and our harness. Ambient temperature sensor, things like that. I don't really know what to do with these broken pieces. I'll work on them when I get the gist of the job done. Let's put the directional air bracket down inside here. Let me back the camera up so I can get a little bit of room here. All right, let's see how this thing goes. Just like that, switches around our line. All right, it's in there. Gonna lay that right there, lining up our radiator. Just let's make sure we got our This piece right here actually goes, that's our latch assembly right there. All right. Yeah, let's get this one started. Need to go ahead and put your support bracket and tighten that up. Get that in there. Stand to the bottom. Might as well tighten these now that we got it that far. Let's install those. 3 that hold that in. Now let's see if we can get this stuff back in there better than it was before I got it. Yeah, it's bumpers. They're lucky it's not falling off. Well, it is just about. Sticking off the edge there. Right there. This whole thing. Like I said, this thing's been wrecked. It's a Uber driver. Hope you don't bump much more. We got to get some clips in there. See what we got here. Those. Let's get this air filter, fresh air intake on here. sure I'm not forgetting anything. Plug in the other horn. Couple new ones there. Like I said, this thing was bent, but I think we can get one in there. Bringing up this cover piece. Let's see if any of these old ones are going to be worth a hoot. They look pretty busted up. That one might be all right. Well, isn't that a little odd? Such rough shape. All right, let's find some different clips here. That one's too big. These up front right here, everything is so bent out of shape. I got this thing on here better than it was, but I can't line them up here because I put it in correctly over here. That's more secure than this thing was when it came in. These clips are all busted. We got some new ones in there. I got to put it on a vacuum for 30 minutes on a vacuum pump. If you don't have a vacuum pump, some people used to do it with engine vacuum. That was kind of interesting. Anyway, yeah. So let me hook up the vacuum machine, evacuate it down. We'll start it up. We'll kick back up there and see how it cools after that. Evacuated down and charged back up using R2D2 over here. Anyway, there's your pressures on it, and she's running like 38 on her low, 210 on the high. We're cold through our vent. This is a variable compressor, so I will complete disconnecting my lines and call this a fix. And that's your 2013 Toyota Camry LE, non-hybrid, 4-cylinder AC condenser replacement. Hey, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, make your comments, please, and we'll see you next time.